Hi guys, welcome to another crochet stitch tutorial today with me, Laura, and this one was voted for on Instagram. If you want to go check me out on Instagram and have your say on what tutorials I make. And this is for a kind of twisted double crochet stitch. And yeah, so join me in trying this stitch. Okay, so for this stitch you can use any yarn obviously, but I happen to be using a DK light worsted weight yarn, and I'm actually using a slightly bigger hook, quite a big hook actually, 6mm for this type of yarn, but it does create a really lacy effect. Now what you want to do is you want to work to units of 2 plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to do a few chains, do my little slip knot, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So maybe I'll do 12, 11 and 12. So I've done a unit of 2, so I've chained about 12. And once you've got your 2 times table down, you then just add 1. So add an extra 1. Okay, and this hook, if you're wondering what this hook is, you haven't seen this one before, this was gifted to me by Hobium, and it's their rosewood crochet hook as part of their Lamia range. So I absolutely love this. I actually used it for the first time the other day, and it goes so lovely with the colour of this yarn. So yes, I was gifted this yarn but was not paid to promote it, so I genuinely like it. But what we're going to do is I'm going to do a single crochet in my second chain for my hook, so I won't count the loop on my hook. There's our first, there's our second chain. So put our hook into there and bring the yarn through, hopefully, and do a single crochet. So that's in US terminology. In UK terminology, it's going to be a double crochet. Then we're going to go into the next chain and do a single crochet. And we're going to do 1 single crochet in each chain across. So I'm going to go into the next chain. 1 into next chain, so the next chain, to the next chain, and just work 1 single crochet in each chain to the end. So I will end up with a stitch count of 12, so I'll end up with my units of 2. Okay. Okay, so I've done a row of single crochets. Let's do the last one. And now what we want to do is I'm going to chain 2. So I'm going to chain 1 and 2, and that's going to count as a double crochet, or in UK terminology a treble. Then we're going to turn our work, I'm going to yarn over, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip, obviously I'm going to skip the first stitch here because those chains are going to count as the stitch in that stitch, and I'm going to skip the next stitch as well. So skip that one, skip that empty stitch, and in the next stitch I'm going to put my hook into there and do a double crochet, or a treble in UK terminology. Okay, and then what I want to do is a double crochet in the one chain, the one stitch that we skipped. But to do that, what I like to do is to yarn over and actually come at it from the back. So what I do is I hook my hook down and I come from this direction instead. It's actually easier than trying to go in this way. So I can just pop it out, put my hook into there, and grab the yarn from there, bring it through, then do my double crochet. Okay, and then you've got your little twisted stitch. Then what we're going to do is we're going to skip the next stitch and we're going to work a double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, and then again we're going to yarn over and we're going to find that skipped stitch there, keep an eye on it, and come from the back, just making sure you're going under those 2 loops. Bring the yarn round and then bring the yarn through the stitch and then do your double crochet. It's just I find it easier to work in a skip stitch in that direction. Then again, make sure you're not going to work into that stitch there which you've already worked. You're going to skip the next stitch and go into the next stitch. Do a double crochet. We're going to repeat this all the way across to the last stitch. Then yarn over, find the skipped stitch, come from the back and do a double crochet. Then make sure not to work into that one because you've already worked into that. Skip the next stitch, then one double crochet in the next stitch, and then a double crochet in that skipped stitch. Oops, all over the place. Then we should have 3 stitches left. We're going to skip the next stitch. That one's already worked into there. Skip the next one, do a double crochet in that next stitch. Then find that skipped stitch and do your double crochet in there. And then you should have 1 stitch left. I'm just going to do 1 double crochet in that last stitch. Okay, double crochet in there. Okay, so that's the end of that row. You've got those twisted stitches. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain 1. Don't count that as a stitch and turn. And then find your first stitch and we're just going to do 1 single crochet in there. And we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch across, keeping your stitch count, so a unit of 2. So I'll have a stitch count of 12, this little swatch. So just 1 single crochet or 1 double crochet in UK terminology in each stitch across. That's the last one. And don't forget your 2 chains that you did at the beginning of that round. You need to do a stitch into the top of those 2 chains as well. So just check your stitch count is 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, or however many your stitch count is. Okay, and then we do exactly the same as we did for the previous row. We're going to chain 2. Count that as a double crochet or a treble in UK terminology. Skip the stitch underneath because it's technically already got a stitch in it. Skip that stitch and then in the next stitch we do a double crochet. And we just repeat the same thing. We then yarn over, find the skipped stitch, come from the back and do a double crochet. Okay, then we skip the next stitch, do a double crochet in the next stitch. Then find the skip stitch, come from the back and do a double crochet, and repeat that all the way across. And just coming up to the last 3 stitches, we do that double crochet, a double crochet in the skip stitch, and we finish up with, we've got 1 stitch left. This last stitch here we just do 1 double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we do 1 single crochet in that first stitch and 1 single crochet in each stitch across. And that's it. You just keep repeating these 2 rows for however many rows you want. And I don't know what this stitch would be called because it's kind of a mixture of different things, so maybe we'll call it the twisted double crochet with single crochet row. I don't know. If you've got any ideas for names for this combination of stitches and rows, then let me know in the comments below, and then maybe that's what I will name it on my website. I'll give you credit for coming up with a better name than twisted single crochet double crochet. And don't forget to do your single crochet in the top of those 2 chains. as neatly as you can. And there we go, that is the stitch. It looks really lovely, and it creates this lacy effect because I've used a bigger hook for the yarn that I'm using. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Hope you managed to follow along. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for extra tutorials and able to vote on stitches as well, and ones you want to see on my channel. And this was one of the stitches patterns that was voted for, and yeah, it'd be great to see you over there. Until then though, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification button. I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.